We don't know if any backdoor assurances have been given. I mean, Trump is a transactional person. So whether the quid is sufficient for the pro, or whether the quid has to be, the pro has to be further negotiated, or there will not be any pro, we don't know.
And you cannot rule out the possibility of any backdoor negotiation for Adani at this point of time.
No, not at all. When Trump and Modi are involved, how can you rule it out? They are both transactional persons. I mean, the record speaks for itself.
Right.
That you can't rule out. And especially the way Trump has been bullying us, India. I mean, and the way he has been, his conduct as far as India is concerned and Modi is concerned has been far from desirable. First possibility is whether they will prosecute him. Then if they decide to prosecute, then will he be exonerated or found to be guilty? And in which case he will be asked to appear in person before the court while the trial is going on. It is another matter that he can get exonerated. So he has got two stages. The first one is the prosecution says there isn't sufficient material and files a document in the court that we are not going to press the charges. Reliance and Adani, they operate in two different spheres. There is hardly any overlapping between their two respective businesses. I mean, they're all different verticals. I can't see that there is an overlap. And there is sufficient scope of crony capitalism for both of them. I mean, one is taken away all our oil and gas, has taken away all the Russian oil at a discount, which it is refining, which was supposed to come to us rather than through him, which again Trump has stopped, of which they can't do anything. And the other person is in his port, airport, roads, electricity, green, non-green, coal import, all that his empire, particular area about which he has neither any expertise nor knowledge. For Adani, of course, no expertise or knowledge is required. He can get into anything and everything.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. I think it's troubled time for Gautam Adani because Modi government has forwarded the Securities and Exchange Commission summons to Ahmedabad court. Now I'm going to tell you the details of this case. Now, what has happened? The Ministry of Law and Justice under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has taken steps to officially serve a US summons notice to Gautam Adani, who's the chairman of the Adani Group. The notice is part of a US Securities and Exchange Commission case against the billionaire over the bribery allegations. Now, earlier, the SEC sought the Law Ministry's assistance to serve the summons under the Hague Service Convention for service abroad of judicial and extrajudicial documents in civil and commercial matters. Now, the 1965 convention allows the countries to request legal assistance in serving documents for cases filed abroad. So this is the crux of the case by and large. But has the noose tightened around Gautam Adani? What is the next step if he doesn't appear for the summon? Will he face a warrant? Will he face an arrest? And geopolitically and diplomatically, what does it mean? Because this comes on a day when Bharti Airtel and Reliance both have signed an agreement with SpaceX, that is Elon Musk's SpaceX. So what does it mean for the corporate world? Does it look like a big shakeup, Adani being sidelined, and now Bharti Airtel and Reliance coming to the forefront? Is it happening with some kind of a signal which Donald Trump is trying to indicate? We'll discuss all this and much more this evening with lawyer and activist Arun Agarwal, who joins us this evening. So thank you so much for joining on HW, and it's really a pleasure having you on the program. My first question to you is that what does this US court summon mean, which has been sent for Gautam Adani?
Niluji, this service of the summons means that the Indian government is complying with the orders of the court through the US government which has been sent to India. Because we also want the terrorists which are taking shelter in America to be extradited and brought to India. And that is one of the promises that President Trump has made. I forget the name of the person who has been there for quite some time. So
you're talking about Tahabur, who is supposed to be extradited.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can't have it both ways, that your criminal, a person indicted for crime in America, so notice can't be served. And there you want Mr. Rana to be extradited and you expect the cooperation of the government. So these are all intertwined and government issues, government to government. You can't be seen to be not complying or soft peddling a particular document to be served. And the process of the service is such that the government, even suppose a high court case is there in Bihar, it is sent via the high court to the court over here, which in turn serves the summons or the court document to the person concerned in Bangalore. So that's the process that they have adopted. They have sent it to the Sessions Court over there, which is the proper service authority. And the document which is to be served has come from the American court. So that one particular aspect of that compliance of service of the notice has to be completed. Now, what happens subsequently is another matter, whether the Justice Department, whether Mr. Trump is interested in bailing out or using it as a leverage to get more concessions from Modi, or he is going to ask the Justice Department, Bondi over there, Miss Bondi, to instruct the prosecutor to say that there is no case. But it may be a long haul because they are simultaneously both the cases, civil and criminal, which is in the same court, if I'm not mistaken, in the Brooklyn court. But right now, the Justice Department is heavily compromised in America, which has not happened before.
Arunji, but procedurally speaking, now what happens? Now the summon has been served, I'm assuming, to Gautam Adani. Now what happens? Does he appear virtually? Does he physically go to America? What happens now? The summon has been served, and what does he do now? Gautam Adani, what is the step which he has to take now?
He has to file appearance in court through his lawyer.
Right. So does he do that physically or virtually?
And he has already got one of the best lawyers appointed over there,
right,
to save him. So, right. The lawyer has not appeared in court, but definitely the lawyer has to file appearance on his behalf, like we saying about wakalat over here.
No, but does it mean that Gautam Adani's lawyer has to appear, or Gautam Adani will have to be physically present?
On the date assigned, Gautam Adani in this thing should be physically present. Right. As President Donald Trump was present when he was indicted for 34 felon. I mean, basically, President Trump is a felon. I mean, he is a convicted, the sentence was passed and he was let go. But all the entire procedure of the law was complied with.
No, but then that was President Donald Trump who appeared. But what about Gautam Adani? Because he's in India.
The things are different. President Trump had already been elected when he was let off. And all that. And the judge saw that he could not walk away without any blot on his character. Or pass an order which the Supreme Court would have negated. So
Right.
that was a very, very clever move by the concerned judge. But here there is another case which is Seclink, which is far more significant than this service, where what has happened is that this entire this project in Bombay, the Dharavi project,
Redevelopment project you're talking about.
ha, 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 that was, this Adani's claim that, oh, we are getting everything by bidding, we are getting everything by tender. So how can you blame us? We are transparent. But the fact is that every tender is tweaked and tailor made for them, and they see to it that the thing is awarded, and no company in this country has the guts to challenge the tender. And you can't do it in PIL, otherwise the court will say, who are you? You are trying to obstruct the development of the country. All types of this thing. We will put you to heavy cost. So this is how he has been very successful. But here was a case which was a foreign company, Seclink, which had, in the first round of the tender, actually won the tender fair and square. Then they tweaked the tender to suit him, his this thing, the compliance by Adani and not by this particular company. So the company went to the court and said that this was done deliberately so that I could be eliminated. This tweaking was not proper. And for this same, because I was eliminated, for the same tender, he is willing to offer almost 2,500 crores more. So now the court was, Bombay High Court, of course, as it was expected, had dismissed it. So he went to the Supreme Court. So when he went to the Supreme Court, this company Seclink, the issue there was, he said, ki, because I was eliminated by this tweaking deliberately, I could not bid. But I do meet all the other criteria. One particular something was there, which, so the court said that because there were a few things left out, railway or some other part, which was not the part of the earlier tender, so the re-tendering was in order. I mean, it was legally this thing. But this award and elimination, that they took cognizance of. And he said, ki, here is this person is offering 2,500 crores more. So you give an undertaking, and I think, I'm not quite sure, that Justice Khanna is also a cost accountant, which shows in his judgment. And he has done good justice. I mean, he must be in a days.
Right.
No,
But
what he has said, let me complete. What he, see, already the work has started. So Adani's lawyer, being Rohtgi, he said, ki, well, everything has been awarded. We have started the work. What to do? So there is no way out. I mean, it has become fait accompli. So, now even if it is wrong or he is offering more, then you can't put the clock back. So therein, this particular knowledge of accountancy, he said, all payments you will have to do through one bank. You have to maintain all the vouchers, which meant that in case Adani progressed to a certain extent, and even if they try and over invoice, these people can work it backwards. And from there, wherever the decision takes place, the project can be awarded to somebody else. Because
no,
after all,
keeping this aside, but I want to talk to you about the geopolitics and the diplomacy, how it's going to figure out now. Now, does the news tighten around Gautam Adani? Now, whether he appears physically or virtually, we do not know. But he will have to appear now that since the summons have been served. Now, what does it really mean? And it comes on a day when we've already seen SpaceX signing an agreement with Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio. And here on a day like this, we see Gautam Adani being served a summon. What does it really mean? Does it look like a big shakeup? Does it look like some big signal given by Donald Trump, as far as Adani is concerned, and and as far as this Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel are concerned?
See, we don't know if there has been a backdoor understanding and negotiation. If, I mean, this particular service was in order, if that has taken place, then the proper way is to first serve, and then when the lawyers appear, at that point of time or in the interim, decide that they are not going to press the charges, or the charges are not of a nature which can lead to prosecution. That decision we have seen in the Adams case, the mayor of New York. They let him off the hook, and the judge said that, well, he was helpless in that matter. So this is only compliance of the procedure, which even if he has to be let off and not prosecuted, this has to be complied with. You can't let it hanging in the air. So once the lawyer files appearance, whatever instructions or whatever date is fixed by the court, and whatever are the instructions of the court, that will have to be complied with. If the lawyer can show that he is very busy and it is not possible that for him to appear at this stage, you see, once the trial commences, he has to be present. There is no way out. If you are being charged in America for a felony, then you are accused of felon, and you should be present there in the court.
So which means that the troubles now are mounting for Gautam Adani, because as and when the procedures, the steps which are advancing, so which means it's trouble time for Adani, which looks like a very clear picture.
Yeah, as far as that is concerned, but as I said, we don't know if any backdoor assurances have been given. Trump is a transactional person. So whether the quid is sufficient for the pro, or whether the quid has to be, the pro has to be further negotiated, or there will not be any pro, we don't know.
And you cannot rule out the possibility of any backdoor negotiation for Adani at this point of time.
No, not at all. When Trump and Modi are involved, how can you rule it out? They are both transactional persons. The record speaks for itself.
Right.
That you can't rule out. And especially the way Trump has been bullying us, India, and the way he has been, his conduct as far as India is concerned and Modi is concerned has been far from desirable. So that particular aspect, one doesn't know.
But Mr. Agarwal, can Adani really reach a stage where there's a warrant issued against him? He could face arrest and maybe at the behest of the American courts. Could that be a possibility? Or there will be some kind of a negotiation by which Trump will avoid a situation like that, knowing the fact that Adani is close to PM Modi?
No, there are three possibilities. One is that the prosecution, given the changed circumstances, and given that Bondi is there and Kash Patel is representing the FBI, so first possibility is whether they will prosecute him. Then if they decide to prosecute, then will he be exonerated or found to be guilty? And in which case he will be asked to appear in person before the court while the trial is going on. It is another matter that he can get exonerated. So he has got two stages. The first one is the prosecution says there isn't sufficient material and files a document in the court that we are not going to press the charges. So one doesn't know. Anything is possible. So
how does one read these equations that now the way the negotiations are happening, the way agreements are being signed with Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio, and here you have another big corporate group very close to PM Modi, and now he's facing a summon, he's facing an indictment. Does it deepen the divide within the corporate world of India? Because all said and done, honestly speaking, Trump is a polarizing figure. Even Elon Musk is trying to polarize the entire internet world, and the high-speed internet connectivity is concerned. So does it deepen the divide within the corporate world with these kind of developments taking place?
No, fortunately, in India, Reliance and Adani, they operate in two different spheres. There is hardly any overlapping between their two respective businesses. They're all different verticals. I can't see that there is an overlap, and there is sufficient scope of crony capitalism for both of them. One is taken away all our oil and gas, has taken away all the Russian oil at a discount, which it is refining, which was supposed to come to us rather than through him, which again Trump has stopped, which of which they can't do anything. And the other person is in his port, airport, roads, electricity, green, non-green, coal import, all that his empire. So,
No, but given the fact that internet connectivity and high-speed internet services are going to become the driving force, it looks like, as far as the Trump's governance is concerned, the way Elon Musk is driving the things, do you think that there is a possibility where Gautam Adani also might get into the same sector and he might pay for projects?
no, I think he has sufficient trouble on his hands, and sufficient projects going to be financed, for which he has to now probably rely by mortgaging or by this thing raising money from BlackRock and Blackstone for his project. So he has enough troubles and enough projects on his hand to get into this particular area about which he has neither any expertise nor knowledge. For Adani, of course, no expertise or knowledge is required. He can get into anything and everything.
But right. No, but given the fact that, there are too many things happening, too many equations changing, and politically speaking, people have been saying that the proximity of Prime Minister Modi with Gautam Adani looks like a big, big trouble, and domestically as well as now on the international front. So do you think that this episode or the indictment of Gautam Adani could distance PM Modi with Adani? The distances could widen, or that's not going to happen?
No, they are thick as anybody can be. I can't use the term. What is the actual phrase? But they're inseparable. The fate of Adani is closely tied with Modi, and Mr. Modi is, when he is involved in making ministries in Maharashtra and seeing to it that they secure an electoral victory. So, it's a world of crony capitalism, and they are their backers. So, it is very difficult to see that there can be any schism between Modi and Adani on any issue. It's very difficult.
But do you think that summon which has been served to Gautam Adani, will it end up giving a sleepless night to Gautam Adani in any way, or he'll be chilled out and he knows what procedures are happening? Maybe if there's some backroom negotiation, as you pointed out, could happen, then which means that he's assured that nothing is really going to happen to him.
No, one doesn't know whether it has happened or already is going to happen. So if it has happened, why should he waste any sleep? If it has not happened, then naturally he will be a worried man. After all, he's not accustomed to losing in court. Indian courts have been very supportive of his agenda. Indian courts, Indian authorities, SEBI, you have it. So, and whatever little in Mauritius also, I think that also would have. I have never understood why all the money of the world should be coming through a small island like Mauritius. What is the economy of the Mauritius? It has been put there to launder all the money through round tripping in India. If at all there is one state which should be proscribed from investing in India, it is Mauritius. But then that has been the uniform policy of the government. Right. Generate black money here and round trip it through Mauritius.
Mr. Agarwal, my last question to you is that does it look like a big, big trouble time for Gautam Adani? And the news, again, the first question which I asked you, that will the leash be tightened around him now?
I think he is, accustomed to this high tension type of life, because, that's what they lead. And probably to de-stress, he makes sure that he has a game of cards every evening with his wife, which is a good thing. At least it shows that he is a family man and he has some personal values. So to that extent, whatever is good about him as a human being, one has to at least praise that aspect. But I think in business is full of tension. and he's accustomed, probably they might be thriving on it because they are accustomed to breaking the law and getting away. In India, they know that they can get away. I mean, right now, I can't foresee why, for any reason, they have not, the CBI has not stepped in and arrested the person involved who was there in charge of this SECI, the Solar Corporation of India, which had allotted these projects. And is definitely a person to be inquired into.
Right. So, but surely this is a development which is a big one in a way that the summons have been served by the US court. Now we'll have to wait and watch how Adani faces this entire situation and what he does in the coming days. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal, for joining on HW. Thank you.
Thank you.